For the result section, first we are going to have a look at the flowchart for the coding of the food waste decomposer so that we will have a better understanding on how the machine works. So first, the machine will first check whether the stop button of the machine is pressed. If the stop button is pressed, then this process will keep on repeating and the machine will not start operating. So if the stop button is not pressed, then the yellow LED will on, which indicates that the machine is ready to function. After the yellow LED is on, the infrared sensor will check whether the level of food waste inside the food tank is full. If the infrared sensor sense that the food tank is full, then the red LED will on, and the machine will not be able to start operating, and this process will keep on repeating again and again. Why does the machine do so? Because we don't want the user to on the food waste decomposer when the food waste inside the food tank is full, and when the user on the machine, the food waste come flying out of the machine. We don't want that to happen. So this is the function of this infrared sensor here. Next, if the infrared sensor sense that the user have already removed the food waste inside the food tank, then it will sense 0, and then you check whether the start button of the food decomposer has been pressed. If the start button is not pressed, then this process will keep on repeating again, and the machine will not start operating. So if the start button is pressed, the blue LED will light up, which indicates that the machine is operating, and the same goes to both industrial heater and also the DC motor. So the industrial heater here will play the role to dehydrate the food waste inside the food tank, while the motor will play the role of as the prime mover for the grinding module to grind the food waste into small pieces. So both the industrial heater and motor will turn on for 10 minutes. After 10 minutes, the industrial heater and motor will turn off for 5 minutes. So why turn off 5 minutes? This is to ensure that this is to prevent the overheating of components inside the food tank and make sure that both the industrial heater and also motor inside the food waste decomposer have enough time to rest. So this whole grinding process will be repeated for 3 times. So after the grinding process repeated for 3 times, then the temperature and humidity checking process will be carried out by the temperature and humidity sensor. It will check that whether temperature and humidity inside the food tank is within the optimum level. So why 40 degrees Celsius for temperature and 70% for humidity? So according to research, the optimal temperature and humidity for the food decomposition process to be carried out is the temperature must be above 40 degrees Celsius, while the humidity must be less than 70%. So if the sensor sense that the temperature inside the food tank is less than 40 degrees Celsius, or the humidity sensor is greater than 70%, then the industrial heater will on again to carry out heating process so that the temperature and humidity inside the food tank will be within the optimum level. So the industrial heater will turn on for 10 minutes. So after 10 minutes, it will turn off again for 10 minutes. So why turn off again for 10 minutes again? This is to prevent the overheating of components inside the food waste decomposer and to make sure that the industrial heater have enough time to cool down. So let's have a look. What if the temperature and humidity inside the food waste decomposer is within the optimum level, which the temperature is already greater than 40 degrees Celsius, or the humidity is already less than 70%. So if the condition is already within the optimum condition, then the industrial heater will not turn on. The process will straight away skip to here. Okay, so after the temperature and humidity checking process, the industrial heater and motor will turn off for 10 minutes. This is for storage purposes and for cooling down purposes. So after 10 minutes, the green LED will on, which indicates that the food decomposition process has been completed. So the green LED will on for 15 minutes. So after 15 minutes, the machine will check whether the stop button of the machine is pressed. If the stop button of the machine is pressed, then the process will come to an end. If the stop button of the machine is not pressed, then the whole food decomposition process will be repeated again. So why, you may ask, why repeat again? Because after 50 minutes, if the user have not removed the food waste inside the food tank, then the food waste inside the food tank will become lumps, which is not ideal for plants to absorb nutrients from. Therefore, the food decomposition process will be repeated again if the stop button is not pressed after the food decomposition process has been completed. Before the simulation starts, I want to make a few side notes. Due to time concern, I am going to shorten the time inside the coding from minutes to seconds. This means that if the real hardware will on for 5 minutes, then for simulation, it will only on for 5 seconds. Before the simulation starts, I'm going to have a brief introduction on the circuit itself so that you will have a better understanding on which push button indicates what and which LED indicates what. So first of all, let us have a look at the inputs. So as I mentioned during the presentation earlier, the indoor food waste decomposer has 4 inputs: stop button, start button, infrared sensor, and also the temperature and humidity sensor. So this one here will be the start button, this thing here, stop button, and infrared sensor, and temperature and humidity sensor. So since the Proteus does not provide us with infrared sensors and also temperature and humidity sensor, so I'm going to replace both of those sensors with push buttons. So basically, if the infrared sensor sense that the level of food waste inside the food tank is full, then I'm going to on this button. If the level of food waste inside the food tank is not full, then it will remain off. The same goes to temperature and humidity sensor. So if the temperature and humidity sensor is not within the optimal level, then this button will on. If the temperature and humidity inside the food tank is already within the prescribed level, then it will off. Okay, so this will be the main controller for the machine, which is Arduino Uno. Now let's proceed to the outputs. The indoor food waste decomposer has 3 outputs: LEDs, DC motor, and also industrial heater. So first, let us have a look at the LEDs. So first of all, the yellow LED, this is the yellow LED which indicates that the machine is ready to function. The red LED, which indicates that the level of food waste inside the food tank is full. The blue LED, which indicates that the machine is under operation, while the green LED, which indicates that the food decomposition process has been completed. So next, this will be the industrial heater, and this will be the DC motor. So the industrial heater will dehydrate the food waste, while the DC motor will act as the prime mover for the grinding module. So now I'm going to start the simulation. As we can see here, all the buttons are off and the yellow LED is on, so which indicates that the machine is ready to function. Okay, so the infrared sensor here is not on. So let's see what's going to happen if the infrared sensor is on. So if the infrared sensor senses that food tank is full, so I'll on the button here. So if the food tank is full, if the infrared sensor senses that the food tank is full, then the red LED will on, which indicates that the food tank inside the food waste decomposer is full. So if the user try to on the machine when the infrared sensor senses that the food tank is full, the machine will not start operating. Okay, basically the machine will not start operating until the user remove the food waste inside the food tank. Okay, so once the user have removed the food waste in the food tank, so I'll off the infrared sensor here, the machine will start operating, as you can see. Okay, the blue LED is on, which indicates the food decomposer is operating, and both DC motor and industrial heater is on. So this process, both this industrial heater and also DC motor will on for 10 minutes long. Okay, so after 10 minutes, so let's wait. It's a bit slow because the CPU speed is only 50%. Okay, so after 10 minutes, they'll off for 5 minutes. So why 5 minutes? This is to ensure that both the industrial heater and the DC motor have enough time to rest, and this is to prevent the overheat of components inside the food waste decomposer. So after turning off for 5 minutes, both the industrial heater and the DC motor will on again. So this grinding process will repeat again, and they will on for another 10 minutes. So basically this on and off process for grinding process will repeated for 3 times. So this will be the second time they on. Okay, so after 10 minutes, now they will rest for another 5 minutes to prevent the overheat of components and have enough time to rest. Okay, so after 10 minutes, they'll both the industrial heater and also DC motor will on again to repeat the grinding process. This is to ensure that the food waste inside the food tank is properly grinded into small pieces, are properly dehydrated. Okay, now after 10 minutes, it will rest for 5 minutes. So now it will sense the temperature and humidity inside the food tank. So let's say that now we on the temperature and humidity sensor, means that the temperature and humidity inside the food tank is not within optimal level. Okay, so now as you can see, the industrial heater is on to carry out the heat dehydration process, so that the temperature and humidity inside the food tank is within the optimal level. So after 10 minutes, you'll turn off again for another 10 minutes. So why turn off for 10 minutes? Again, to prevent the overheating of components inside the food tank and make sure you have enough time to rest. So after 10 minutes, the green LED is on, which indicates that the food decomposition process has been completed. Okay, so let us see what's going to happen if the user managed to press the stop button after the food decomposition process has been completed. So as you can see here again, the green LED is already on, which indicates the food decomposition process has been completed. Okay, now I'm going to resume the simulation. Okay, so now if the user wants to remove the food waste from the food tank and he pressed the stop button, so after 50 minutes, wait, the whole simulation will stop if the stop button is pressed after the food decomposition process has been completed. So basically just now we have seen that what's going to happen if the temperature and humidity sensor inside the food tank is not within the optimal level. So now let's see what's going to happen if the temperature and humidity inside the food tank is already within the optimal level, which means that the temperature is already above 40 degrees Celsius and the humidity is already below 70%. So let's see what's going to happen. Okay, so now, what if if the temperature and humidity inside the food tank is already within the optimal level? So now let's off the button here. Okay, let's see what's going to happen. So according to the flow chart, the machine will skip the heating process again and will straight away jump to turning on the green LED, which indicates the food decomposition process has been completed. So let's see whether it's going to happen. Yeah, as you can see here, the green LED has been on, which indicates that the food decomposition process has been completed. For instance, if the user has already forgot to remove the food waste inside the food tank, and basically he didn't push the stop button. So let's see what's going to happen. Resume simulation, and yeah, the user forgot to press the stop button. After 5 seconds, the whole decomposition process will be repeated again. Okay,